just starting off, what are your biggest takeaways from Saturday, good, bad, or otherwise?
Yeah, well, like all of us, there's a bitter taste in your mouth about a lot of it. But I really, I'll give our guys a lot of compliments just in the way we played. You know, I thought coming in, we had did a good job of being able to explain to our players why, the piece in the game plan that was, you know, truthfully a little different than what we had done for the first, third of the season. I thought they bought into that. I thought all of that played out and developed the way we'd like for it to. We've got to continue to, being able to finish a little bit better and find a way to make one more play. I was really proud of them. Fourth down stop at the end of the drive inside the red area was a big play for us. We had 3 different opportunities where we were ripping at the ball, got fumbles created. We needed one more to be able to get on top of. 2 opportunities would have stopped scoring drives, but I thought that they went out and executed. It's probably the hardest I've seen our defense play. Some great examples of D linemen chasing the quarterback 40, 50 yards through the field. We were doing everything in our power to try to prevent them from having explosive. Obviously, that's what their offense has been built around for the last 2 years. Quarterback that can, go 100 on you, whether he's throwing it or running it, and receivers that can catch it and have a lot of yards after catch as well. So I thought the game plan of being able to try to take those things away and limit the explosives, I thought those things worked. We just need one more play.
Into your first 100 miles of hate, I guess what do you know about the rivalry and what are you expecting on Saturday?
Well, I know from a historical standpoint, obviously geography puts a lot into it, but from a historical standpoint, Western Kentucky and Middle have kind of always come up together, if that makes sense. And, whether it was FCS or obviously, an FBS, and being able to put those things together, conference opponents, guys that played against high school football together, dads that played against each other 20 and 30 years earlier. So it's really, really interesting for me. Personally, it's my first game in the rivalry. A lot of people on the staff that I've known really well. I've worked with 4 guys on their staff. Running backs coach Jeff Beckles is a good friend of mine. Jeff and I first met each other in 1996 when I was a sophomore in high school, and he became the receivers coach at Tiff County in South Georgia. And Tommy West was a defensive coordinator at UAB when I was coaching the safeties. We spent a year and a half together. And Rick, their tight ends coach, Rick and I have been really close through the years, and so there's a lot of good relationships in there, and it'll be fun to be able to see those guys. And obviously, we want to go out, play really well, come back, and have a win.
Going back to the UTSA game, Coach Young kind of hit on a little bit with those 4th down plays that they went for, kind of in no man's land. Does that put pressure on the defense for you guys, or does that kind of a compliment to the way you all have played this season?
Well, I think Coach and I have a really good understanding of what our philosophy is and what it takes to be able to win games. Every game is a different game, and what you think that's going to be able to take. We get together pretty early, on Monday mornings, Tuesday mornings, and Wednesday mornings, and kind of go through the plan again and try to put together collectively between the offense, defense, and the special teams, and put together what we think is going to do that. We're a defense. We're kind of like, what our offense is, and our offense is an explosive offense. They can beat you in one play, in a series, and they can hurt you in a lot of different ways. We really kind of want to play defense like that. We want to be able to get 3 and outs. We want to get takeaways. We want to be able to have as many different looks of pressure as we can give people. We want the quarterback, running back in the center, walking out of every dang going, dang, I'm not sure where they're coming from, who had him, what was this. And so I think it fits what we do: an aggressive style on offense, an aggressive style of defense, an aggressive style, and being able to go play together. I don't think it's any more pressure. I think defensively we know what our jobs are. We kind of feed off of those things. When we know the ball's in a short area, we don't get any more worked up, than it is if we were backed up and we were able to start a drive that went for 90 yards. We know we've got a job to do, and that's to try to get takeaways, try to get 3rd down stops, make them kick field goals, and if we can do those things, we feel like we're going to be successful.
What are you seeing so far, leading into MTSU with their offense?
Excuse me. Well, quarterback's obviously a veteran guy, dual threat. Very savvy, got a lot of awareness when it comes to being able to maneuver inside the offense. The first thing that jumps out to you is how fast they go, what their tempo is. I think they're truthfully one of the top tempo offenses in the country. The quarterback knows where to go. He knows when to check in and out of plays, what the box count is, what kind of coverage he's seeing. They played a good bit of the backup quarterback last week. The backup quarterback played in 3 or 4 different positions, whether he was at slot receiver, whether he was at running back, or at quarterback. So they've got 2 good guys in that spot. Running backs are both big, thick guys, can hit you with home run balls. They are downhill. They are not looking to run outside, run out of bounds. They are looking to run you over. Both are really good players for them. And those have been the primary guys. They played a third back a good bit this past week, a little bit more. They're a little bit different. They don't play with their tight ends a lot. When they do, they've got a specific reason for being able to do it. Both tight ends are big-bodied guys, come in, do the dirty work, and then get out. 2 slot receivers, very different body types. One is, short and very versatile. Another guy is a big body, big catch radius. They do a lot for them. They play in tight end spots at times. They branch out and they go outside. Sometimes they're catching the ball. Occasionally you'll see them throw the ball. Outside receivers are big bodied guys that are able to get down the field, run screens, and you've got kind of a mixture on the offensive line where you've got a good group of veteran guys that have been there, understand what they do at Middle Tennessee, and some transfers coming in. But I think they're playing well, and I think, if you go back, obviously being able to see some of the numbers they were able to put up versus Miami and the type of game plan they were able to put together, I think shows you what kind of offense they can be week in and week out.
Kind of like Coach Elton was saying, just like, especially with the MTSU kind of, just the ability to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how much that means, in order to take away the game.
Yeah, well, that's kind of been our mantra, and where we've tried to start, throughout the process through the year. As crazy as it sounds, that was not really our goal Saturday. We knew we were playing with some light boxes. We knew the goal was to make sure that the ball didn't get thrown over our head, and to try to keep the quarterback from being able to have big explosive runs. And so we knew what we were dealing with. Like anything else that you do, if you're going to create a strength, you're also creating a weakness in some variation. As we get back into it this week, then we're always going to be able to talk about stopping the run. Broderick is so funny. I love Broderick. He comes by my office every morning somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock, and comes in, and he's always got a big smile on his face, and he don't want to talk about anything else. Usually big men want to talk about where they drop, what blitzes are going in. He's no part of that. It is, Coach, we're going to stop the run. We're going to stop the run. Jawan usually comes by about 1 o'clock every afternoon, same conversation. So it's funny. They take a lot of pride in it. Coach Baker's done a tremendous job with that part. And our defensive line, I think they're playing at a pretty high level right now, and I thought they did a great job of being able to contain the quarterback this past week. And I think that, as we move forward, that's always going to be a focus of ours, is to stop the run. And they create some problems because of the amount of gap schemes they have with quarterback runs, trying to add an extra hat themselves.